Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another live session. As always, thank you so much for being here. And we are going to take the same path as we always take in these live sessions. So, the first few seconds, just warming up, waiting for people to join the stream, come and engage with me. And so, as we're kind of warming up and diving into this process, please let me know where you're visiting from. Always the warm and fuzzies, just that you can see and hear me, and just hellos are great. So, always when I produce a full length video on Monday, which is pretty common, uh, what I'll do is I'll just take a moment to go back through that video that I produced yesterday, and then we can go ahead and go forward and talk a little bit about our subject area today, which is AI equals layoffs. And of course, as always, we have a default subject area to talk about, but we're going to have it as a broad and open Q&A. So any questions that you have, please feel free. So let's go backwards before going forward. So yesterday's video, I spent yesterday's video focused on methods, and specifically it was kind of me introducing a new method for the first time, which is CTT. So it's really about connectivity three, kind of that rule of three, and timing 1 minute or less. So I really wanted to introduce the CTT method. That's something that's going to be tried and true and something I want you to stick with. Obviously, that video covers the STAR method, another famous method that everybody's very familiar with. And then I also lastly cover the CFAST method in that video. And so using methods in job interviews, it's just so critical that we don't wing it. And if you're here, you probably understand that and know that and have a good idea. But so many people go in and they wing it. They want to be their authentic selves, and we can be our authentic self always and set boundaries around our authentic self. And I know that's kind of a weird phrasing, but the reality is that there's just massive opportunities for us to use methods to have success. And so really check out that video. It's long. It's a 17-minute video, but if you're not using methods, and again, like, let's just pause for a second here. For common questions, tell me about yourself. Why should we hire you? What are your strengths? Those are really using the same methodology time and time and time again. And so one of the items that I've uncovered from using methods as I've been doing this interview coaching, and I know it's getting long-winded, but one of the ideas and concepts that I've uncovered is the fact that there's so much more that our brain can take in when we use methods, and we're thinking about ourselves because we want to stay structured, organized, and provide the right level of detail, and we're thinking about our audience. How can our audience possibly take in the information if it's not being delivered in a clear and concise manner? And that's just the power of methods. So if you're just hopping on, I was just giving a recap of yesterday's video. It's a 17-minute video. It's long, but if you haven't had the chance to check it out, please do. Okay, so as we're warming into the session, the warm and fuzzies, hello, hi Liz. You can see, you can hear me. This is a general Q&A. We're going to cover any and all questions. Obviously, it's a positive platform. We love the positivity. And in our downtime, we'll talk about how AI is really impacting layoffs. And it's going to be, I think, a little surprising what we see coming up in the back 6 months of this year. I think people are going to be surprised at the amount of layoffs that are coming. So if this is your first time here, real quickly, my name is Jeff H. Sipe. My business is practiceinterviews.com. We have officially, for my app, we have officially launched Interview Academy. We created a waitlist. So if you're still on the waitlist, we are going to start to bring more people. We have brought some people, but bring more people off the waitlist starting off fumbling words, to start off introducing our Interview Academy. I also want to mention we're introducing a new pricing model, monthly and annual pricing, and we're going to bring that cost down a little bit. We got some feedback from users to bring down the cost, and we listened. And so we will go ahead and start again bringing people off the wait list, and Interview Academy will be one of our tiers. Really briefly, the one thing we were really focused in on was more of a, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikToks, like much more short form content to teach learning, to break it into small pieces to make it more manageable. I'm also still doing one-on-one interview coaching, one-on-one negotiation coaching, and one-on-one career strategy. That's kind of resume, LinkedIn, networking mostly. And we have packages as well. If you haven't checked out our interview mastery course in October, I updated that entire course to have all the AI modules to make it easier to get through. If you like what I'm doing today, smash that like button. If you've never subscribed, I go live 9 a.m. Pacific time every Tuesday. New original long form content every Monday. I took the last couple of weeks off of doing shorts, but the intent is to do at least one of those tomorrow. So let's dive in. It looks like we just have some warm and fuzzy intros, but obviously what I'm here to do is I'm here to support you. So any and all questions are welcome, relevant, and good for the entire community. Let's dive in. Hey, Liz, thanks as always for being here and supporting the channel. Hey, Patrick, good to have you here too. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, good morning. Okay, Patrick, you're enjoying your new role and team. Okay, awesome. Really excited and happy about the opportunity. Love it. Good to hear that. Okay, let's go here. How do I get on the wait list? If you just go to app.practiceinterviews.com, you'll see join our wait list right on the front. I mean, I'm not really sure what our exact plan is. This is kind of the fun of building a software business is we might just open it up immediately to everybody. We have we have 2 levels right now. We're adding in 2 more, and we're probably going to split out those levels because they're pretty robust, but it will be somewhere in the neighborhood. Let me do some simple math. I think it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 to 80 really short videos. So it's like opportunities to learn really quickly. And again, I don't want to spend all my time today talking about the product, but if you just go to app.practiceinterviews.com, the first thing you'll see is, as you get into that page, you'll see join waitlist. Thanks. I've been posting twice a week about LinkedIn, about my company. I've seen it, as you suggested, but the engagement is really like low, 1 to 2 reactions per post. Should I continue this approach or adjust my content? Great question. So LinkedIn can be incredibly frustrating. And one of the reasons why it can be incredibly frustrating is because, and I was actually going to do a LinkedIn post about this yesterday, so let's talk about it. I think over the last probably 10 days, I feel as though I've provided probably 5, 6, or 7 communication interview tips that if you utilized all those tips, you would really improve your overall communication skills, improve your interview skills. Patrick, the engagement on those is super low, like 1,000 impressions. And 1,000 impressions are not views. It means it showed up in somebody's feed. It doesn't even mean they engaged or interacted with it, right? 5 likes, 10 likes, 2 comments. And for somebody with the size of following I have, and then you see the Taco Bell post that gets 5,000 likes and 2,000 comments, and it can be frustrating. So the thing with LinkedIn, and maybe I'm talking to myself here a little bit, as I always feel like I am, but just don't have super high expectations. But I love the consistency. Stay consistent. Just keep going. LinkedIn is a long game, and you will just have like random stuff that hits and resonates, but you're going to have to post 10 or 20 or 30 times to see one get pretty good engagement. It's just the way the platform works. The algorithm is poor, to say the least. Like I think that they've done a really poor job of optimizing what good content is versus what fluff and clickbait is. It's just a reality. If you spent any time on LinkedIn lately, it's Facebook. And they're losing their way a little bit, and they're not really looking at and following the trends that are going to be critical. So Again, I know that that's a very long-winded answer, but the reality is that the one item that will always win out is consistency. And like, so even yesterday, like, I know I'm going on a tangent here, but yesterday I had a conversation with my wife at dinner, and we were just talking about, she asked how my day was, and I said, like, not great, pretty unproductive, but now I'm just coming in Tuesday. I got a little work done this morning. I'm coming in this live session. I have clients today, and I'm just trying to move the needle. And all I do is I just show up for myself every single day. I show up for my business every single day. And it's the same kind of strategy on LinkedIn. Just continue to show up, continue to post, continue to grow your following, because the future state of the economy is going to get smaller and smaller. And we need to be thinking a lot about our personal brands and how we grow our personal brands. These large companies and large company models, they're not the future. And so, wow, that was long winded, but keep going is my basic point, Patrick. Hey, Daphne, thanks for being here as always. Recently, I had a kind of pre screening interview with a recruiter, and it didn't seem to go well. Questions covered very basic stuff like coding language, location preferences, and interview schedule. Okay. For example, I chose JavaScript for my coding interview, but they prefer Python. I said I can do that. They said they would get back to me, but have not. Should I contact the hiring manager? Yeah, why not? Look, it's frustrating if they're asking when they have a preference. They should just say, we prefer Python, and in order to move forward, you got to code in Python in this interview. Is that okay with you? As opposed to saying, what's your preference? And then we prefer Python. It's like that's kind of setting you up to fail. And it's just, again, it's just a bad practice. They should be very transparent. Like, the minimum qualification for this role is Python, right? Like, we need to be talking about what they want and focused in on what they want, not having any ambiguity in that space. And it just seems like they built that in for whatever reason. I mean, look, we could talk forever about recruiting and what the state is there and like how everything's being done wrong. But the reality is that recruiting historically has been pretty poor, and companies really understanding and prioritizing candidate experience has really never been a priority. So we're just going to continue to run into those items until the whole hiring process is automated. It's kind of sad. Thanks for being here, David. How you doing? Thank you so much for the advice. My impression is kind of low as well, like 100 to 200 impressions. With the consistency help with the impressions as well? I mean, again, like, Patrick, if you're getting 100 to 200 impressions, I mean, you have to, like, let's just play the comparison game as a positive, right? I have over 45,000 followers on LinkedIn, and I have posts that don't even hit 1,000 impressions. So if you're getting 100 to 200 impressions, that's good. That's good for your following size, and just, again, keep going on that. Will it increase impressions? I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I had one video that got that I posted earlier this year that got maybe, I can't tell you. I mean, it's definitely over 100,000 impressions, but it had like very few likes, very few comments. I think it just got some good engagement, but like engagement in terms of impressions, like people didn't actually engage with the video. So it's really interesting. So it's just funky. I definitely recommend for anybody watching, like, polls get good impression numbers. People just love to click a button. Hey, I'm the same, right? Like, so we love to click a button. So throw out some polls, switch up the way you do content, find what people like. I mean, video content seems to do pretty well. And then sometimes you just post something that really resonates with people, and sometimes you don't. And then obviously there's other angles. Like, you can take a more controversial stance. Those usually get higher engagement. I don't do a lot of those. I want to be controversial, but I want to agree with the opinion. I don't want to just put it out there to put it out there. And then the other thing I love, Patrick, which I know you've done for me, but I just love giving shout outs to other people when I've seen that they're doing good work. I just think that that's such a great pay it forward model in today's environment where it's very self-focused. And you see the self-focus where people talk about X item and then they bring in a selfie that has nothing to do with what they're talking about. So if you can give shout outs, that's awesome as well. And again, you've already done that for me. No need to do it for me, but for other people, that can be a part of your strategy as well. I was recently impacted by Google's layoff. Sorry to hear that. I have a few internal interviews lined up and I'm prioritizing internal roles. Okay. I'm also applying externally. Really love your content. Help me land my first Google offer back in 2022. Appreciate your community support. Amazing. So, I mean, if you still want to be there, then definitely lean into these internal interviews and take them very, very seriously, right? Like people who have been laid off, um, it's it's been pretty like competitive, right? So just take those internal interviews very, very seriously. And I know this is going to sound silly, but as you're going into these interviews, sometimes people don't know. They haven't looked at your background. They don't know anything about you. You have to remind them in your behavioral answers. This is an example, and this is an example from my time at Google and X role. You're like reminding them that you've already been there. You'd be shocked at how many people don't look at resumes. I didn't. I did it intentionally when I was at Google just to remove any bias. So just something really, really important to be thinking about. I hope that helps. And thanks for the shout out. I appreciate it. My main goal is to keep my account active and handy when I need to network with other people. Is the consistency be the same strategy for this goal? So you gotta ABN. Always be networking. Okay. It's a critical item. Like we can only control what we can control, right? And we can't control what these companies are going to do moving forward. We can't control layoffs, jobs being removed because of automation, but we can control our personal brand. So not only, Patrick, should you be actively producing content, but you should be staying engaged. And of course, I'm going to recommend 100% of the time. Like we need to be writing nice recommendations for people on LinkedIn, not because that's an area of LinkedIn where people are reviewing it a lot. It's just a nice pay it forward item. People will remember us, will be more likable, and potentially could open doors in the future. Okay. I'm an ENg PgM at Google. I got an L5 offer, but I have two L6 on-site interviews lined up in the next week or two. What's the best approach here? If I get an L5 offer, okay. If I get an L5 offer, I mean, yeah, so much of that is recruiter communication. And so the biggest thing would be just talking to your recruiter if that were to come through to say, hey, I have these future interviews coming up. Obviously, they're both at Google, and like, can we delay this a little bit? Can we not delay it a little bit? You'll just want to work with your recruiter on that. Let's go to this next question. Be upfront with the L5 role HM, say you're interviewing for L6 roles, or accept the L5 and bounce out. No, you can't bounce out. You can't decline an offer and then go. It's just, if it's all internal, that's not going to look good. So all you need to do is go through the process for all the roles. And if the L5 role pops and you're still interviewing for L6 roles, just work with the recruiter to see if you can delay. If you're working with multiple recruiters, which you might be asking them, hey, can we push up these interviews? I'm getting another internal offer from Google. So just be very, very transparent. I don't know how much transparency I would have with the hiring manager. If you have personal relationships with them, you can be transparent, but you also don't want to tell the L5 hiring manager, hey, I like you, but I like an L6 better. I mean, they should understand that, but we just don't want to take that risk. So do most of the work through the recruiter. And obviously, as things are progressing and happening, like, please keep us updated because I want to help you as much as I can through this process. When it comes to the self-ID part of the job app, why am I typically unable to select yes to being Hispanic and and 2 more races, non-Hispanic, because I actually am all 3, Asian, white, and Hispanic. Bad form. Yeah, I mean, that's sad. It's if you want to opt in, you should have multiple options. I just think those forms are crappy. Uh, I mean, I wish there was a better answer, but I think that's just the simple reality of it. I think they don't put much thought into those forms. I think they don't put much thought into recruiting, the hiring process. I don't think they put much thought in any of those things. That's just my personal opinion. I've seen it enough to know. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, I can't tell you. I mean, you can always give feedback on their form as well if you like. Something to consider. My sense is that teams are under extreme pressure, and I have to be very careful about what I say because it snowballs. Somehow, Python means you're working daily in AI. Anything else? Okay, let's go. Anything else? Showing up each day. Okay, all right. Sorry. Let's stick on this one first, Liz. Well, of course, we always want to be careful with our words. We want to be intentional. We want to take a pause, slow down, think about what we're saying. Always, in all conversations, business, personal, job interviews, slow down and be thoughtful about what we say. It will enhance all relationships, build massive trust, and increase likability, right? So we can always ask questions. So if they say, what coding language do you prefer to code in? Hey, I know it's annoying to answer a question with a question, but I just want to be sure I understand what is your preferred language that you're looking for in this role. We prefer Python. I'd be more than happy to conduct the interview in Python then, right? So if they're kind of trying to bait us, we can always kick it back with a follow-up question. Sometimes we want to present what we're doing as annoying. Okay, so this is a Chris Voss trick. If you don't know Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference is one of his famous, well, his most famous book. He's a former FBI negotiator, but what he does is he takes a little bit, I love this tactic of negative posturing. So we say it's like something crazy. You're going to say, I know this is crazy, but could you tell me what language you prefer? And it's like, it's not crazy. It's an easy to answer question. So it makes it very easy for them to answer. They're relieved because the question wasn't hard. And then you align with what they need. If that doesn't make sense, let me know. Showing up each day. I've since built 2 AI projects in Python, one simple, one agentic with good tech depth. So I'm doing all I can and having a good time too. My agent is super helpful. Yeah, and Liz, you're really kind of speaking to, I mean, we could get into this. This could be fun. I know we got quite a few more questions coming in, but AI agents are the future. We will be creating AI agent personas and not for any other reason than it is going to speed things up for us tremendously. And I see agents as the future of interviewing. So what is an AI agent? You can create an AI agent educated on you, your background, all your information, etc. I'm probably misspeaking, Liz. You can correct me. And what the future could look like is I'm hiring manager Jeff. I want to hire Liz, or Liz has come up as like a close match. So my AI agent and Liz's AI agent connect, make sure that there's some connectivity between personality styles, skills, etc. And those AI agents find the closest match to what the hiring manager is looking for. And then I just have one interview. I'm the hiring manager. I interview Liz because the AI agent did all the agents did all the talking, they did all the work, and then we just need to do one interview. And then we could automate all the other parts of the recruiting process. Recruiters are instantly gone. I think that this is hands down going to be the future state of recruiting. If it's not, companies should be doing this. If you like this idea, please steal it and run with it, because I got my own project and I can't work on it right now. But I mean, I'm currently trying to, and I'll keep it kind of very limited details, but I am partnering with a company that does have AI agents. And I do see this as a future state for practicing interviews and the future state of interviewing in general. Hi. Hope you're well as well. Well, I appreciate everybody coming to say hello. So thanks for being here. Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful to this community, and I know it looks different, right? I always just want to acknowledge this isn't COVID times. We are a much slower live session, right? I am intentionally long-winded with every comment to just keep the engagement going. See if additional people pop on, and I extend out all the topics because we don't have 100 to 200 people like we did in the past. It's always 20 people or 30 people but I am so grateful and appreciative of everybody, and I know that this community shows up because I know that so many people here have this kind of default sense of gratitude, and it's an amazing thing to have that as part of this community. So thank you. I appreciate it. Patrick, what has helped me on LinkedIn is posting more often, but also outbound engagement by commenting on others' posts, replying to those not in your network in comments. Hope that helps. And that's a great tip for anybody on LinkedIn. It's something that I don't do enough of. I'll occasionally have tangent days where I just go and jump on a bunch of LinkedIn posts, but I think I have personally experienced the LinkedIn exhaustion. I'm only there because I need it for my business, but if I didn't, I could use a break. I think some people in my life hearing how I talk about LinkedIn could also utilize me taking a break, but you can't just be always producing content. You have to do exactly what David says, which is comment, like, repost with commentary. Because if we're just reposting, which is totally fine, and I do that all the time, I'll repost something great. But reposting with commentary or your lens can be very helpful as well. Also, like and comment on your own stuff. That's okay. I like all my own LinkedIn posts. If I didn't like them, I wouldn't post them. So I like all my own posts. I don't always comment on my own stuff, but sometimes I'll even comment on my own posts. And it's just to keep the algorithm going, get a little bit of engagement going. So that's another strategy you can use. I helped you negotiating your offer with Google. Awesome. And got more than 15% more in RSUs. That's amazing. It's really important to note. Thank you so much for saying hi. It's just really important to note that Google's equity philosophy has definitely changed, and it's very, very recent. It's in the last 2 months, the equity packages are lower, period. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. I negotiate for such a broad variety of roles at Google that I have seen it across the board. Equity packages are going down significantly. And so it's just something that people need to note, that they are going to be less flexible on equity moving forward. And it doesn't mean that you don't negotiate like a crazy person. You do. You negotiate as much as you possibly can, but just understand that those packages are not as good as they've been in the past, unfortunately. Thank you so much for answering the LinkedIn questions. I'm so glad I made it today. By the way, cute water bottle. Oh, yes. I got, trying not to unplug here. Got all my stickers on here. And so it's mostly driven by my wife, who loves stickers on her water bottle, but I've taken a few on mine as well. Appreciate your insights. Yeah, I'm working with multiple internal Google recruiters on various L5 and L6 roles being scheduled. So it's just so critical to note that recruiters are helpful when they have information. And so just as you're going through this process, as anything escalates with one, they're not going to really know. So it's to tell, let's say you have 4 roles and you're working with Tim and then Sue, Jane, and Bob, my famous 3 fake people. Sue, Jane, and Bob are all working on other roles for you. As anyone escalates, you're just keeping them in the loop. They will like you better for that. They will work harder for you because you're actually giving them information they need to support you. They can't support you without that information. So just keep everybody in the loop. Start to kind of stack rank the positions, right? And so stack ranking, just kind of pros and cons. You're thinking about level from a comp perspective, career path perspective, right? But you're also thinking about, do I like that hiring manager? Do I like the product area? It's all very important, right? And just because an L6 role pays more, and it definitely does, but I would almost default to picking the L5 manager I like more than just jumping into an L6 role. But of course, finances play a big role in that. Okay, everybody, we are at the 30s, so I'm just going to take 30 seconds to prompt on my services. If this is your first time here, my name is Jeff H. Sipe. My business is practiceinterviews.com. We have released Interview Academy in its beta form in the app, and we're letting people slowly in off the wait list. We're also changing our pricing model. We got feedback, and we have decided to reduce prices on the app. That will all be coming out this week. We should have a new landing page for the app, all sorts of good stuff. Still doing one-on-one interview coaching, one-on-one negotiation coaching, and one-on-one strategy sessions. And I have packages as well. Updated the interview mastery course to have AI modules back in October. So really happy with that already great course, having that uplift to have AI involved as well. I go live 9 a.m. Pacific time every Tuesday, new original long form content every Monday, and shorts as often as possible. If you like what I'm doing today, smash that like button. If you never subscribed, consider subscribing. Right back to it. David, thank you so much for letting me know. Super helpful. And I will definitely try that. Yeah, absolutely. And don't be afraid, Patrick, to just go crazy one day. Occasionally, I have a crazy, for a while I was doing the crazy Wednesdays, and I would post 5 or 6 times. So it's good to have a goal. I love that you've set the goal of twice a week, and don't be afraid to do more. And then if you don't do as much one week, don't worry about it. But I do love the consistency. Show up every single week. Consistency wins every single time. It's not the smartest people who win. And when I say win, obviously it's a broad word, but you want to win in the business world, you got to show up every day. And that's again, all I do. And I think I have a lot of days that aren't great, but I just wake up the next day and I show up and I show up and I show up. And over time, it is a good strategy. Question: with DEI gone, why do we still have to answer old questions about race, gender, et cetera, et cetera? Because they're trying to collect data. It's a data collection method, and you don't have to answer those questions. And I think that I can't say even how much those questions really mattered when we had a focus on DEI. And of course, I hate it. I personally firsthand saw the positive impact of DEI efforts. I totally am 100% supportive of it. I hate that it's gone. I'm very upset that these tech companies have abandoned it, and then Target and Walmart and all these other big US companies that have abandoned it. It's very sad. Thanks, Jeff. I figured it was bad form, LOL. It's weird to pick Hispanic, then the rest of the race options are grayed out as if it's impossible to be more than one. Yeah, and I mean, it is totally ridiculous, especially not only as we look here in the US, but as we look globally. We've become a melting pot. We're really a mix of everything. I think for anybody who's done Ancestry or 23andMe, a lot of us come from a lot of different places, right? And that's very, very cool. The more it gets that way, the better. But yeah, I find it to be incredibly strange too. What is going on with all these things? This is just kind of a next layer to say that people aren't really thinking about user experience. And that's a part of the experience. But if you don't care about it, you're not going to look at those simple things. So again, I'm spending all this time going through my app constantly and seeing what's broken and seeing what could be better from the user experience perspective, taking that feedback. It's something we need to constantly do. And clearly whoever did that form just did the form and didn't think oh, if I go through this process, what are the multiple different areas or paths that can happen? And they just didn't think through it, unfortunately. Do you know Chris Voss? Excellent. Yeah, for anybody who wasn't here, Chris Voss never split the difference, but I was specifically talking about negative posturing, saying, would it be crazy to ask for? And then the ask is very simple. Once I've experienced a successful HR screen, but then was told they chose their candidate before I got a chance to meet. Why would I even have the HR screen if they had their top candidate in line? Because they like wasting people's time. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just really important to note that it's just an imperfect process, right, David? And like, they're wasting their own time. They're wasting your time, which they don't care about. What they should care about is wasting their own time, but your time, they don't care. And that's why we need to be very careful with our time as well, right? And I think if anybody's watching this on LinkedIn, like, people reach out to me all the time with questions, and I simply can't get to all of them, and I need to respect my boundaries and my time. And you just went into that conversation, and you should go into that conversation, but you weren't going to know, right? So unfortunately, sometimes we just got to take those conversations without knowing how serious they are about our candidacy. My latest agent, Expensio, I like that name, it's fun, reads my bank statements locally and extracts biz-related expenses, categorizes them, and records them in sheets. Prep the info for my account in minutes rather than in days. Liz, are you trying to replace QuickBooks? Because that would be wonderful. I'm not saying QuickBooks doesn't work well, it does, but it's very, very expensive for what it does. So if you can replace QuickBooks, I think you're onto something, and I don't think you need to keep interviewing. So I love it. And of course, feel free to share here if you like. Jeff, I have 2 to 3 different roles that I've been applying for. Is it best to just stick with and focus on one role? Well, I don't like applying, so let's change the applying word to networking, right? But no, I mean, I think you should be like stretch the bounds a little bit, right? We don't want to be so in our niche that like we're interviewing for program management, but we couldn't be looking at like a strategy and ops role as well. Like, they're pretty close roles. They have very different titles, different job responsibilities, but they're close enough. So no, you can kind of spread it out a little bit. Remember, you want to have at least maybe 60-70% of the qualifications and responsibilities, but you don't really need more than that, not in my opinion. So I hope that helps. Your query got missed. Please consider. So I'm not sure. Sometimes what happens on these StreamYards, and I'm just going back through, I didn't see your comment come through. So again, just my recommendation to anybody sitting in any of these live sessions, if it gets missed, I would just copy and paste it or restate it. It's just sometimes the product, I can't tell why it misses comments. It just does. So I'm happy to answer any and all comments. So please repost for me. Thanks. As a project manager in Apple Music, what's the best move to pivot to a higher paying role? I know you advise against coding roles, but it seems a lot of jobs are engineering or other type of tech. Well, I like project and program management a lot more than software engineering. I don't know if you guys saw, but Sam Altman, I think he was in Beijing, and he said that GPT by the end of the year will be the best coder in the world. And I think it would be hard for us to believe that that's not a true statement. And that's just going to keep enhancing and increasing. And I don't like the future state of software engineering. There are a lot of jobs that I just don't think are set up for success in an AI/automation world. And so again, if we're talking about the subject area of today's video, I think one of the items where I have some fear is that we have mass layoffs of software engineers. Software engineers are the highest paid globally. Like, if we're just to look at roles globally, software engineers get paid better than anybody else. We saw all of a sudden start mass laying off software engineers. What happens to the housing market when these people need to all sell their homes because they can't afford them, especially because software engineers make good money, so maybe they bought expensive homes. It's just a very, very interesting future state. So project management, what's close? Program management tends to pay a little bit better. Some strategy and ops roles, they may pay a little better. So something that's close, like big leaps are hard. And if you have coding skills, okay, maybe you can review it or go after it. But junior level software engineer roles, I mean, I just feel bad for those that are in school right now trying to come out of school, because that's going to get really, really hard to find jobs in that space. Would it be recorded? I am not sure what this question is referring to. I can tell you that this live session is being recorded and will be available for replay on LinkedIn and YouTube immediately after we end. Hey Yi, how should I approach a Google interview where the recruiter told me, XG, I am the only external interview and they already have a handful of external candidates? Discouraging, though I will try my best. Oh, yeah, typically some internal candidates. I know that this is like over the top, but I am such a control person. All those internal candidates, push them aside. You can't control those internal candidates, what they do, whether they like them or don't like them. You can control how you show up in that interview, period. And if you show up better than the internal candidates, you're going to give yourself a chance. I surprisingly did not see Google prioritizing internal over external candidates in my entire time there. And that actually annoyed me. I wanted them to prioritize internal, because I thought, well, internal knowledge, like they're more of a proven entity, but they haven't really done that historically. They're talking to you for a reason. So you cannot control those other people. You can control massively preparing and just giving it your 100%, and that's it. Oftentimes I find, and this is just the Jeff philosophy, and this is, again, a lot of learned lessons that took me probably longer than a lot of other people to learn, but just the control item. If it's something you can control and we get upset about it, it's like, well, we have control over it. And, one of those great comments is, we can't control what happens. The only thing we can control is how we respond. And I just absolutely, when I heard that, it changed my whole perspective, because I used to kind of like blame others, right? But now I take all ownership for everything. It's also a great way, if you take control, you'll never make excuses. No excuses ever for anything. And it's a great way to live. And thanks for listening to my tangent. What roles are in high demand right now that are kind of insulated from layoffs? Raheem, great question. So in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, I think roles that require massive amounts of communication between many stakeholders. So while I think we can automate some sales items, I think sales roles are very safe. People are still going to want that personal touch. So sales, I feel like we're good there. I definitely think project, program, technical program management, those roles are pretty safe. You just need to communicate with so many different people. And I just don't think that people are ready yet for AI in that space. I think product management, just from an ideation perspective and communication perspective, is safe. I think some of the analytical roles are actually surprisingly safe, because those require quite a bit of communication as well. But a lot of the other roles, we're going to see it. We're going to see. Here's what I think happens. I think, like, let's take recruiting. Everybody who's been here or knows me or has heard me talk before, I think that's just such an easy job to automate. I think people would be so much happier with responsiveness than ghosting, lack of clarity, etc. What will happen is a company like a Google will one day just remove all their recruiting and they'll automate it. and then a lot of other companies will follow. And it doesn't have to be Google, but it's just going to take one company to show that it can be done and be done well, and then boom, gone. That role disappears from the planet, never to be seen again. It's an extinct role. And I think that's really where the future state of jobs is going to be. Last round interview, April 23rd. Recruiter emailed me, said she'd get back to me once she hears from Google. How long should I wait before following up? Dublin office, sales role. Today. I would follow up today just to check in, see how things are going. This is about the time. It's been a week, so definitely check in today and just, hey, how you doing? Just wanted to do a quick check-in. Hope you're doing well. Looking forward to hearing back. Really simple, really gracious and kind. Good luck and keep us updated. Patrick, you're welcome. Depending on your goal, if you're trying to expand profile reach and followers, add call to actions like, comment, share to encourage more interaction. Yes, and on LinkedIn, if you're going to post on LinkedIn, basically blah, 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 do your post. And then the last thing you say is, what do you prefer, X or Y? Or have you experienced this in the last month? Don't make the question so open-ended that they have to think a lot. Make it a little bit more of a closed question that can direct them. Comment below. Will people comment below? No, most of the time they won't. But it's great. What David's talking about is just build in a call to action, right? And so those call to actions are really valuable. And by the way, our entire LinkedIn profile should be a call to action. If I land on your LinkedIn profile and I don't know immediately what to do, it's not a good LinkedIn profile, in my opinion. So when you land on my LinkedIn profile, the first thing you're going to see is you're going to see the CTAs in my banner, my LinkedIn photo, driving you to my app, driving you to my coaching, driving you to my course because I have the carousel feature. That's a call to action, right? And then throughout, I'm an interview coaching expert. Go to my website. Here's my background. Check this out. Go to my YouTube channel. Everything's a call to action. And if you treat your LinkedIn profile like a call to action, you'll just have a much better experience with people engaging with you. Great. CTA is fantastic. Thanks for that, David. What country is hot right now when it comes to jobs? I don't know. I mean, I feel like the market in India is pretty good right now. That seems to be one of the better markets. I mean, I think across Europe, it's been really, really bad for tech for a long time now. The US is not great either. So India's been one of the best markets that I've seen recently. I haven't and can't say that I've seen any other really strong markets right now. And obviously, it's just my limited lens, right? Your interview mastery course is incredibly helpful. Let's talk about the reality of courses, right? If you were to look at everybody who's bought that course over the course has been 3 years. It's been out 3 years now. Only a handful of people will really play all out in that course. And I absolutely guarantee that you will have success. This is not to sell my course. It's just to talk about the fact that if you buy a course and you play all out, chances are you're going to do better, right? And so it's so important. I had somebody come to me and tell me my course sucked. And I went in, I can see exactly how much work you've done in the course. And this person hadn't actually done the behavioral or hypothetical modules, which are the most robust part of the course. And I said, hey, play all out, do the course. And if you think it's not valuable, I'll give you a refund. And they claimed fraud. And when you claim fraud, by the way, you pretty much always win. And so they claimed fraud. And I just messaged them and I said, look, this is on you. You didn't play all out. I'm going to lose. You're going to get your money back. But if you think my course wasn't great, you can't tell me it's not great if you didn't play all out. So I love that you're playing with a course, with apps. The vast majority of people, they just don't play. 10% will play and play all out. And then the other 90%, they'll do a little bit, maybe nothing. Very, very common. I like your view on AI agents being the future of interviewing. Do you have a broad vision for the tech space or even employment and the economy in general? Seems like we're headed for disaster quick. Yeah. I just I am such a annoyingly positive optimist. And I'm scared in the sense that I do not believe people are really taking it as seriously as they should be. And you can even go to GPT and GPT or Claude or Gemini or Llama or Perplexity or whatever you like. If you ask about the future state of jobs, they're going to say that AI is going to create more jobs. No way. AI is replacing jobs. I don't need so many. I could remove so many positions from the job market right now. And yeah, of course, it would be a little bit of a adjustment for people, but we could remove so many positions and things would be done more efficiently, faster. And so I get scared about the future state of not only just interviewing, but jobs in general. And I think there is something to be said for AI interviews. Look, interviewers show up and they're not incentivized. When you're not incentivized, you're distracted, you're hungover, you're tired, you're multitasking. AI could at least take in the data and not be biased. And I know everybody says, yeah, AI is biased, not as biased as humans. So it's just a crazy state of the world that we're headed into. And all I would like to tell people is like these companies won't protect you. So just make sure you're ready and you're constantly networking. Like you should never shut down your networking efforts ever. You constantly need to be reaching out to people, talking to people, and being ready for the next thing because nothing's guaranteed anymore. I know that's very sad, but true. Former OpenAI, Zach Cass, echoed your comments on recent podcasts that we will not have regular 9 to 5 jobs soon displaced by AI. Yeah. And again, like, what does that future state look like? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Why did I create an AI practice interviews app? Because I know I can be replaced. Like, and of course, communication skills are paramount and absolutely necessary. And obviously, I think that I'm a good coach. I think I'm a great coach. But the reality is that 9 to 5 jobs might absolutely disappear. We might move to a heavily focused solopreneur environment. These big companies, they're not going to get bigger. They're going to make more money. They're going to be worth more, but they're going to do it with fewer and fewer and fewer employees. And that's why I think the future, the future world, like in perpetuity, like jobs are just going to be less and less and less. We're not going to start adding all these brand new jobs. There will be new jobs because of AI, but not nearly as many that will be replaced because AI can do the job much easier and much cheaper. Hi, I'm new to the community. Do you review LinkedIn pages? I do. That's part of my career strategy service. Like kind of resume and LinkedIn, they go hand in hand. You'll see a lot of advice like your LinkedIn profile should be very different from your resume. Of course it should. They're very different. But the experience bullets you have on your resume should be transferred right to your LinkedIn. It is just a huge missing simple opportunity. If you don't have your resume bullets in your experience section on your LinkedIn profile, you're not being found in keyword searches. Just paste them in there. If there's anything confidential in there, remove it. We rarely are putting confidential information in our resumes. So that's just an easy step. Probably 80% of LinkedIn profiles don't even have the experience section filled out in all the roles. It's like, that's crazy to me. It's a copy and paste from your resume. So I do that service. I've also, of course, I'm going to prompt on my services during these live sessions. I got to promote my business, but I've done a ton of LinkedIn videos where if you walk step by step through those LinkedIn videos, you'll do pretty well. And so just go to YouTube desktop, go to that search feature and type in LinkedIn, and you'll just look at the ones that are the most recent. I hope that helps. What's the best approach for networking on LinkedIn? I've had a ton of people on LinkedIn at various tech companies I'm targeting over the last 12 months, and lots have accepted. Following your giving method, should I just send a message to those who have accepted my invite with an interesting article in their related domain or specific company? Then follow up in a week or two with another article. Yes. I might separate that out a little bit, but like the people who have accepted you, and you can go on LinkedIn and see recent connections. You can literally go to my network, see more, and then recent, and then you'll go down that list. And yeah, just start shooting them some cool articles and videos that are relevant to them, of course, right? Wait at least a couple weeks, see if anybody responds, and then wait a couple weeks, and then maybe send them something else cool. Like, I don't like asking for things after you've sent them a couple of cool articles. If you're feeling like you need to take that step, then ask them for something, but give at least once or twice before you ask for anything. They will just experience you in a totally different way. Again, the only reason why I won't open up my LinkedIn profile and show this community how crazy it looks is because obviously I just want to protect the confidentiality of everybody who reaches out to me. But you would just be shocked at what comes my way and how much is like not only asked of me, but almost demanded of me. So it's like a question comes in, and then like a day later will be see above comment. It's like, whoa, you're not paying me to answer your questions. I put out so much free content. So a lot of people say, see above, answer my question above, and just all that like, gimme, gimme, gimme. Now, of course, I am very fortunate. So many people are gracious and kind to me and thank me for my content. So I'm probably more of a rarity, but I'm only thinking about like my time at Google when I like nobody knew who I was, and the way that people approach me there, it was just almost, well, for 5 years, only one person gave first. And by the way, I helped that person get a job at Google. So the strategy works. I've seen some PGM jobs list product management experience as a qualification, but I haven't seen product management roles list PGM experience as a qualification. Are they really that different? They're incredibly different. But I would say that the latter is more surprising because a good product manager will also, in my opinion, have strong program management skills. But the program managers having product skills, that's not as necessary. Product managers are great at ideation. Program managers are great at influencing without authority and seeing things through execution. Not all product managers are great at execution. But the roles to me are very, very different. And I can tell you the job interviews for program managers and product managers couldn't be more different. LinkedIn article mentions PGM is the quickest way to land a job, Avenue 3 months, but I haven't seen that. Maybe it's because I'm looking more senior, though flexible. Any idea which PGM sectors on LinkedIn? No, I mean, program management as a whole is just a job that's grown over the last 10 to 15 years. Less project managers and larger program management overall is just a trend that we've seen happening for a long time. But I can't tell you where it's more common and less common. Obviously, big tech companies hire a lot of program managers. But I can't tell you, I don't know what sectors like PGM's really, really growing. Just reviewed interview mastery course, and price is so high for Eastern Europe and third countries. Any special offers or discounts? Sometimes I do. So, one of the things to keep in mind is the monthly newsletter. I have that out today or tomorrow. I like to kind of switch up. I was staying so rigid with when I would deliver it, but I'm kind of switching up just to see what times are getting more engagement. So if you go to practiceinterviews.com and you just go to general sign up, I'll throw a discount in there tomorrow. And just remember, when we talk about price, this is always challenging. The price has to be reflective of cost of living and cost of labor for where I live. I live in San Diego, which has been noted multiple times in the last 2 years. San Diego's the most unaffordable city in the US. And the reason why it's the most unaffordable is that the cost of labor doesn't really match our very, very high cost of living. but these costs come because this is the market I live in. And I just always like to give that context. Now, it's also important to note that we are reducing the prices of our Interview Academy, or sorry, of the app this week. And we're going to be introducing Interview Academy, but the price points are coming down and should be very affordable for anybody globally to afford. And with Interview Academy, obviously it's not going to be nearly as robust as the Interview Mastery course, but it will have more coursework built in. So that's something else to consider. Hi, so eventually AI doing like tides. I'm not sure what that means. And no job guaranteed to be safe from layoffs. Do you agree with me? I would say we have to keep going up our skills ourselves and accept the AI idea. Yes, absolutely. I don't know what tides is, but no job is safe from layoffs. And I just think like we could say certain jobs are safe, but we don't really know. And yes, all we can do is up level our skills. And I think the biggest challenge is everybody's thinking about upping their AI skills. Well, great, but up your communication skills. Great communicators are going to have jobs for longer periods of time than people have upped their AI skills. Just my 2 cents. Thanks for the video about interview methods like STAR. Great. I'm so glad you found that helpful. That was my video yesterday for anybody who's here. I did a video on the power of just overall methods for common questions, behavioral questions, and hypothetical questions. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, please do. Hey, Jeff, practice interviews, reskilling after AI takes your job, takes years. Practice interviews, reskilling after AI takes your job. I'm a little confused by that. Possible to get a lateral-ish job in tech by simply framing, spinning qualifications and good interviews. Well, framing qualifications, yes. Spinning qualifications, I mean, again, I like hiring people who don't have all the qualifications for a job. I want to build some space in for people to learn and grow. But being good at interviewing has always been important. How much longer that's important, I can't say, but I can say today we still have job interviews, so I'm still employed for right now. But I don't even know what the future state of interviewing is going to look like. But being great at interviewing will make you millions more, and I'm just thinking USD, but millions more USD in your career, period. And so the fact that people aren't willing to spend 5, 10, 15, 20, 40, 80, 100 hours on their interview skills, to me is crazy. Like, why wouldn't we spend our time on those interview skills? We should, because they're going to have a huge, huge impact on the money we make. And people can say, well, it's not about the money. Sure, but getting job offers from multiple companies matters. And if you make a lot of money, you can give it all away. Okay, so we answered that one. Thanks. Appreciate your point of view on giving methods on LinkedIn. Please keep us updated on how that's going and how the interviews are going in general. Okay, awesome. Live in North Park and it's crazy. Agree. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm happy that you bought in North Park years ago. So North Park is a part of San Diego. I'm in Pacific Beach, and I lived in Pacific Beach a long time ago, and then eventually made my way back because I just love the beach and being in this area. And the rents are like 3 times as much as they were just maybe even 10 years ago. So it's a very expensive market, and our quality of life is extremely high. Having a phone interview with a finance manager for a senior financial analyst role next week. What can I expect in the 60-minute interview? So, of course, anything's on the table. Hiring managers, they really can take multiple angles and approaches. Okay, so it's just important for you to know that. But a financial analyst role, be ready for challenging questions, behavioral questions about times where you've had to do challenging analysis or handle challenging analysis, or you had something interesting coming to you that you had to analyze. Then I want you to be ready for hypothetical. Let's imagine I come to you with X. What would you do? Then you want to be able to walk me through your process. Of course, clarification, framework, assumption, solution. Take me through your process. But just get really warm and cozy with the job description. Usually, 60 to 70% of your interview questions will come directly from the job description. So you can use a tool like my AI app, or you can just throw it into your preferred large language model and say, what are some practice questions I might get based on this job description? I know that's pretty broad, but I hope it helps. Just FYI, GPT is fantastic tech partner in 2 ways. Coding interview prep tutor, tracks performance history, offers explanations tailored to my previous area errors, so the penny drops faster. Yeah, let's just skip ahead. CTO readiness convo, when we talk about product strength slash weakness compared to a competitor and possible barriers to adoption. Hard to describe in a post here, but combos with your stuff. Oh, okay. I don't know, Liz, if you want to tell us more, just so I'm making sure I'm getting everything from you. Let me know. Okay, we answered that question. Oh, yes, tides. Okay, thanks for that. I do not surf at Tourmaline. I'm a body surfer, more than a surfer. So I'm still waiting for the water to warm up. But I will tell you, if you ever come down to San Rafael Court, so like the first like stop in Mission Beach, it'd be surprising if you can't find me on a Saturday afternoon at like 2 or 3 p.m. on a Saturday or Sunday in the summertime at San Rafael. I'm always there. So if you ever come down, happy to say hi. It's awesome. Okay, you reached out to your HR person at Google with a job I fit, but was unsure since it required me to move across the country. She said to see how the interviews go before finalizing location. Do locations sometimes change? My time without a job has lasted longer than expected. It is best to add things I've been doing to my resume, even if they're not relevant to PGM roles, since it shows I'm not just sitting around. David, the latter, that piece is like really up to you. Um, if it's like more on the formal ends, like you took a certification or you did something, I think yes. If it's more like basic, general, like nothing specific, I don't think you need it. So locations can change. Remember, sometimes what happens is you're on the East Coast, they're on the West Coast, they interview you and they love you, and you say, I can't move. Well, sometimes they'll flex and make it a remote role. Sometimes they'll offer a different office to you. So I definitely agree. Go through the interviews, get the offer, and then after you've gone through the interviews, you've gotten the offer, then play around with locations, see how much they're willing to flex. And I think, David, I can't talk to your housing situation, your family setup, all those things, but I think you're at a place where you seriously need to consider reloading for a job. I think you're at that. I think you're at that place. Again, such a big and personal decision, but just my 2 cents. Okay, we are out of questions. Oh, no, here we go. Here's Liz. And David, I had a similar experience around location. It came up that they thought I was in Seattle because of my phone number. Then I clarified I'm in Florida, but 100% willing to move. They seemed doubtful. I had an opportunity to ask a bunch of questions today. Thanks a lot. Yeah, again, this is something also. Yeah, come down to San Rafael. Love to meet you. Basically, like with our location, this is something that we can be calling out on our LinkedIn profile and definitely our resume. It's like, hey, I'm open to New York, North Jersey, Philly, and the Bay Area, and remote opportunities. Like we can get in front of it and say where we're open to, and maybe that would ease them a little bit. Liz, thanks for being here. I think you confused me at the end a little bit, but always you can follow up with me via email as well, and happy to let you kind of like pitch what you're working on as well. Thanks for being here, Daphne. A PGM is a program manager. It can be a little confusing. The reason for adding the G in is that so that like everything's being called a PM, right? So it's a product manager, a program manager, a project manager, and it's like, so the PGM is just to distinguish that it's a program manager. Thanks, Liz. We're out of questions. Any additional questions that come in? We got a good audience. We got a good flow. Let me go into my wrap up. And then if any additional questions come in, I'm happy to answer them. We have released Interview Academy on the AI Practice Interview app. We're waitlisting people and letting people in slowly off the waitlist because it's still kind of beta format. That's really important. Interview Academy is going to be a bunch of videos that's going to help, and they're short, quick to help you learn very, very quickly and not overwhelm you with 5 or 10 minute videos. It's like, you need the data. Here's a minute video, listen to it, and then go improve in the app. We are also reducing the price across the board. We're going to be announcing that this week. We're going to monthly and annual, and we have reduced the price based on feedback. I'm still doing one-on-one interview coaching, one-on-one negotiation coaching, and one-on-one strategy sessions. We still have that killer interview mastery course that was updated in October with all AI modules. All that's available on practiceinterviews.com. In addition, we have free resources on that page. You can join our Slack channel. I've really slowed down on the blog posts, but I've written over 100 blog posts, tons of great stuff. And if you just go to general sign up on the Practice Interviews page, you'll be added to our email list, and email list will include special offers, monthly newsletters, etc. I go live 9 a.m. Pacific time every Tuesday, new original long form content every Monday, and shorts. I just have to do more shorts. So I promise if everybody yells at me, I'll do more. I just like doing original content shorts as opposed to just repurposing old content. And that's why you'll see less of that from me. Thank you, everybody, so much. I'm just going to answer these last couple questions and hop off. If you like what I did today, smash that like button. If you've never subscribed, consider subscribing. David K., you're welcome. Best of luck. Yes, we're all in it together. And like, look, you know, we know that there's the people who show up all the time here. And I just want to say I appreciate all of you. You keep these sessions engaged. We're hitting an hour at least every time, and that's great. If we can go an hour, it means we had great engagement. Such a valuable service, worth every penny. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody. I will be back next week at 9 a.m. Pacific time. New original content, all the good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Take care.